I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video, I'll be answering the question, which 5 coins would I pick if I had $10,000 to spend right now? Nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, I have that type of money to spend, and what should I spend it on? Bitcoin recently took a leg up, or at least 2 legs up, coming to the resistance point of about 53,000, where the experts say that we will continue the bull run. So we are currently waiting. However, you might want to take some positions, I've been told. And where are we going to take those positions in? We have a whole lot of coins and there's a whole lot of green. Will there be red to come or more green? I have already taken most of my positions currently. However, there are some coins which I'm looking to add more of, or potentially in the medium short term. 5 specific ones I am a fan of. So when it comes down to the major coins, like anything like Luna, AVAX, DOT, Matic, those would be like the core of my portfolio for the long term, which is not something I would be interested in right now. Yes, they're good, but I already have those in large quantities, right? So then what would be the other options? Well, something I am not a huge fan of is metaverse. Something I am a huge fan of is gaming. And these things tend to have quite a bit of overlap, right? So when people ask me like, oh, what do you think about metaverse? I think that's cool, right? But I'm more into the gaming, and where gaming meets metaverse, that's also cool. But I'm not super excited about like land plots, open world. But I am interested in the gaming part of it, where the gaming play comes in. So obviously Mana and Sand would be the biggest players there. Also made the most gains so far in like literally the last run up, right? Which is basically the huge spike that Bitcoin did yesterday, which is like literally the first leg up and then the second leg up here. This initial run basically pushed all the gaming market, basically the entire market up. Now the question is, are we looking for long-term or short-term? I will present you with 5 of the short-term positions you might want to consider, or at least I'm considering 5 longer term. So let's focus on the long term. It's very easy. Mana, XE, Sand, Gala. I will skip these. Wax, Ultra. And that's more than 5, that's 6. So I will drop XE. So the reason I'm choosing Mana and Sandbox, because these are being utilized by a lot of other platforms. There's extreme amount of partnerships going on, and I believe even just to get back to the all-time high is already some good gains. 360 at the moment, all-time high of about $5, right? A little bit more, 550. Which I think is then already a very, very nice short-term gain. Can we get back to those all-time highs anytime soon? If that 53k Bitcoin is broken, I do believe that to be the case. Not because I know technical analysis or understand anything in relation to Bitcoin. I just look at patterns, right? Anything on my channel, if you watch my content before, it's about understanding patterns in the market and not necessarily making things too complicated when they don't have to be. Are these smaller cap coins higher risk? Yes. Are they higher reward? Also yes. The reason why I'm not choosing XE Infinity is because I simply don't like the game. That's one. And they have had their first mover advantage in this market, right? Which you can see exponential gains throughout their basically lifetime, starting at like 14 cents about a year and a half ago, reaching all the way $160, absolutely mad. And now being like under $100 before, now just over $100. I think XE Infinity is great, pioneering the space, but I have more faith in Sandbox pulling off major gains than would XE. One thing I like is Gala, is that it's just basically the principle of numerous game positions that they have, right? It's not focused on one thing. They have like all the different assets available. What they have, the Walking Dead Empire is like a little bit more branded, a little bit more over umbrella layered for the gaming section, which makes it interesting for me, right? It's not focused solely on one thing, where Sandbox obviously focus on their own product. Mana does as well. Gala is quite unique there. I'm not that interested in engine because I just haven't researched it that much. Basically, it comes down to these three. I would pick up Wax because of the historic performance, not because I know a lot about this, right? I'm just going to be honest and transparent with you, primarily about commerce, right? When I say commerce, I hope they mean e-commerce. And then they have some additional information here. What their system looks like and everything, right? However, I just look at the past performance where I think it's very much realistic to get back to that all-time high of about $1, basically an easy doubling with less risk. Why would I say less risk? Because this is a top 100 coin where I believe that holds like less risk than, for example, short-term flips that I will mention in a second, which carry some more risk. Then Ultra, because Ultra I think has one of the best utility cases. When we look at what it has done, so I got into Ultra quite late actually, so I got in at about 120 I think, so 120 was somewhere here, yeah, which is correct, like mid-November. Yeah, somewhere right here I bought in, and I usually tend to buy long-term projects on the dip anyway. And then it basically spiked, so I did enjoy this. I did sell off there, to be fair, so I didn't hold it through the dump. I did get in and took an exit position a little too early, so I think I bought in either one of this first leg down or the second leg down at like 138 I think, and I exited like 150 already, so I didn't make it to the top here. But this is one more of the more I currently don't hold any Ultra, I think, but this is more of the long-term plays, which I think are really interesting. So those are the top five ones: Gala, Sandbox, Mana, Wax, UOS, that I think are very interesting. Now about the short-term movement, right? Short-term movement very much dependent on Bitcoin. Still, I would pick, and I'm going to pick, because I do have some spare money to spend, which in this case would be about just over $10,000. What am I going to focus that on, right? I think when we look at this, I'm solely going to look at patterns, which might be quite boring. I'm not going to hype on projects. I'm going to look to make an entry and make a clear exit quite shortly, because this is not a long-term hold portfolio. This is where potential opportunity is the highest, right? And that's basically what you would want to leverage. If Bitcoin breaks the 53K, more money pours into the gaming scene, right? I assume that there will be a level to the all-time highs or more, right? Where Vulcan would be literally, as of today, the perfect entry. They suffered two major hacks, right? So that's not good news, but if you're not holding your Vulcan inside the Vulcan wallet, it's not a problem. So it went from 20, which is basically, it came down from the all-time high in the Binance listing at about $48. So due to the hack, at the bear movement, downwards movement of Bitcoin, it moved basically to 20.5 and then dropped on the hack to 14. People FOMO'd back into the project. Obviously, well, I don't even want to say FOMO. That was a great entry point, in my opinion. It reached again with the run of Bitcoin aligned a new periodic high of 23.5. Then it got hacked again, or at least the announcement. No funds were stolen this time. Again, 14.3. And still it's relatively low because they have problems getting that trust back, which makes sense after two attempts to hack, one which was succeeded and they refunded everybody. However, obviously that cost money. Money is not free. And the second time, nothing major happened as far as I'm aware, yet it scared people that it could happen twice in 1 week for such a major project. Sitting at about $19, I will definitely be taking an entry on Vulcan, and I'm looking to exit. You might expect, oh, he's going to say 46. I'm not going to say 46. I probably would exit already at like 25, 30. If you look at the mean here, at the potential for that recovery. So this was the leg up of Bitcoin, which is very small, right? So Bitcoin needs to have a lot more movement for this to basically go parabolic, or they need an announcement to push above that 30, 32. So probably between 25 and 30. I'm not going to aim for the all-time high because I want some quick returns here. And this might be like the all-time high might be 4-6 weeks away. I don't know, but I'm looking for more of a 1 to 2 week play. So I think within a week we should be able to see like 24-ish again, because that 20 is very close. 24, 25% gain on a 10k investment. That would be very good, because I have obviously a lot of other things going on as well. All right, Falcon is 1. 4 more to go. What else would I take? Let's have a look, because there's many different things to choose from. I think one of the most steady ones in terms of performance has been D-Race, right? If you look at how stable the coin is, right, there's not too many fluctuations. It went up on the initial run and then it came down with Bitcoin. And right now, I assume when we look at the 7 days, it's basically prepping for that recovery. Very, very stable project with a very strong community and strong NFTs. So I would pick D-Race as my second pick. To be fair, I have never invested in D-Race before, because every time I wanted to make an entry, the entry was too high, in my opinion. So this would obviously yesterday would have been better, 360, and right now it's already 460. However, I think today is the day for me to make that move on D-Race. So that's number 2. Number 3 is actually, I'm going to move out of this chart, I think, this overview, because I need Altura, which is not really into the gaming space, but it's more of the NFT marketplace that interests me. So, and then this is a coin I've made videos on numerous times, powering the future of gaming, because it's directly gaming related, and it's like on the NFT side of things. So a market cap of 122 million, right now 120, sitting at about 20 cents, had like a huge run up, right? Very happy with this, because I'm always holding Altura. Altura, in my opinion, is famous for his instability, right? For the famous swings. So Altura is never really that stable. So the price is always moving, which for my swing trades, which I rarely ever do anymore, but what I used to do a lot when I was building up my capital was basically, to give you an example, let me just move the chart a second. So to give you an example, I was basically buying like this, buying on 21, selling 26, buying on 22, selling on maybe 26 here or 28. But basically every other day, every 3 days, I could make one flip, which every time brought me like $2,000 to $5,000, which ended up being extremely fruitful. I did this about 6 to 8 times, and that's why I have a little bit of a personal connection with Altura. Do I think it can reach that all-time high again of about 46, I think? Yeah, 45-ish cents, yes. Do I think it will happen in the short term? Also yes. So as soon as the gaming takes off, Altura will also take off, but I already have my position. I don't need to add more. But this would be my number 3 pick, as again, and you can see that as a pattern across all my choices, the historic pattern is what figures my choice. I'm not really too great in foreseeing what will happen in the future, because I think these markets are just way too volatile in order to do this. However, the past performance has always been my number 1 indicator on what I think might happen, and oftentimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm right, and overall I'm doing quite well for myself, so can't complain. Right. One other thing I think is interesting when we look at Solana-based blockchain games, which I'm quite a fan of. You know, I am a big believer in Star Atlas, Cryo War, Soul Chicks. Obviously, I hold a huge bag of Soul Chicks, but Star Atlas is also quite interesting. I've been reading up a lot later than I wanted to. Right. I should have done that a lot more in the beginning. However, I just didn't have the time and patience in order to do so. But this is the biggest game on the Solana blockchain, which does show potential, with Solana showing a lot of opportunity. It hasn't been as stable as of late, Solana, in terms of the actual technical aspect. It's not related to the price, but the movement here of Star Atlas shows that there's an easy 25-50% gain in a very short term, right? If you look at the chart, how it progresses with the development of Bitcoin. Another one, which is more of a medium long-term choice of mine, not really short-term, is Cryo War, specifically because I just like this team. I like what they're doing. I like the overall project, but it was a little bit overvalued in my opinion in the beginning. I do believe that because there's such a community behind it, it will reach that price again, at least $3, $3.50. in which I'm not going to exit because I want to hold this long term. And I think it's really interesting. And when I say long term for this video, I mean like 12 months. Normally when I say long term, I mean like 2 to 3 years, right? But CryoWar is quite cool. I'm just not going to include it. I would include Star Atlas as my number 4 pick in this scenario. Then you have a lot more good choices like Minds, Veracity, but it's not something that I would pick just because I haven't looked at it into detail. And that's one of the most important things. You might watch this video right now and be like, hey, Colin is mentioning these coins and that's great. I'm going to buy those, right? That's what I did in the beginning, which is great if everything goes well. If everything turns to shit and the entire market goes bearish, you have no idea when to sell and how to sell them because you have no idea of the roadmap of the product or what the product actually does or the project actually consists of. Right, so that's something I learned lately. Only really invest into things you have researched, which makes your day full of adventure because there's so many different projects to research, so many different opportunities out there, and that's why I'm passing up a lot of these projects. Not because they're not amazing projects, they might be the best ones. I just haven't either heard of them or researched them enough to make it for myself a good investment choice. Right, so I think that's very important. In my opinion, the investment and the choice, therefore, is one of the most important things to be able to create longevity. And based on my, I don't want to say historic gains, but based on the gains that I've made this year, apparently what I'm doing is working really well so far. So I want to keep that momentum going and not go off the path by experimenting with some crazy shit. Right, so I really liked the Neko game, but I'm not going to buy into that because I have a lot of vesting, right? Because I did the IDO sale for that, so I already have this one. I like Tethan Arena, but I think it's a little bit overvalued. CryoWar is right here. Monkey Ball I've covered on this channel many times. It's doing really well. Altura is right here. All right, so let's see what else we have on the number 5 pick. SolChicks is right here, which I'm really big. I'm a top 100 investor in SolChicks, but I would not be adding more right now. They first need to make some movements. And Sidus, the Senate token of Sidus might be the right choice then for my number 5 pick. This is one of the games I was extremely impressed with when I looked at the basic demo that they have, the video material, the team. Everything looks really great. This could be both a short-term flip or a long-term hold, right? So these could be added to both lists. I think in the short term, regarding the NFTs that they're going to release, it will move quite well. As you can see, there's quite some traction on this. So it has only been out for like less than a week, right? Just about. And the movement is quite clear. So from 270 today to about $3, which means that if Bitcoin pumps a little bit more, this would gain that traction as well. You're looking at 350 tomorrow, right? Which basically for me, 20-25% would be the exit already for the very short-term flips. So those would be my 5 picks. Very basic, not extensive, no moon boy shit, just based on historic patterns and the quickest way to accumulate either more money or more coins, whatever you desire. Obviously, with the outlook on the short term, there's also the variation of the long term, which would be more in the top 20-25 range. I do think it's very much important to see what Bitcoin is going to do. If we're going to break that 53K, there might be a lot more potential. But today, I will make my play before Bitcoin reaches that level. And I'll be going with, well, I already have Sidus, so I'll probably not go with that one, but you could. I already have Altura, but I will definitely go with the choices I mentioned. So Star Atlas, CryoWar, maybe add some D-Race. Yeah, I have to check the charts again because when I'm recording this, obviously I like to do double, even sometimes triple the research. I look at the live charts, need to check the liquidity, but I think all these things are good for these coins. And some people just buy the coins, right? Don't do all the research I do and do better than me, which is great, but I just feel more comfortable doing it this way. Let me know if my 5 picks make sense to you for the small term flips, short term flips, or if you have any other suggestions which you might think are better. I think this is what I'm going to do. Sounds good to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.